Solis right there with Casting a Line, Lone Star Community Radio, 901 for Meet the Candidates Now. Hanging out with my good friend Nathan Arizati of Montgomery County Lifestyle. Good morning, Nathan.
Good morning, dude. How you doing today?
I'm doing pretty good. Got a lot to do. If you didn't know, folks, we're going FM in a couple of months, and 104.5, 106.1, and I'm getting the station prepared for that transition. But right now we're doing Meet the Candidates, highlighting everything going on around the voting coming up for primaries. Early voting is next week, folks. Hopefully you're already registered because it's too late to do that. And then, of course, March 1st. Visit mctx.org/election for polling times and locations. Today is Thursday, and usually on our Tuesday-Thursday segment, we try to invite somebody who isn't running for a position and more of just kind of highlighting what's going on around this county because there's a lot going on. So, Nathan, if you don't mind, introduce our guests who we have today.
We have got a man
If he says effervescent,
who has a following of epic proportions. He's got a mustache. He's effervescent.
Can I play bad cop and just be like, no, he stinks?
You could, but he's
every
bigger
time
than,
you just
he's bigger than
you
you.
build ego. I just need to call you. And you need to charge people to give the ego boost. I think. That's like, I just need to pick me up. Hey, Nathan, tell me how good I am.
Those of you that know County Commissioner Charlie Riley, you know that I probably did not do him justice with that introduction. The man needs no introduction. You just need to say Charlie. That's all you got to say, Charlie. And everybody knows who it is. Now, when Deanne says Charlie, he says, yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am is right. That is always the correct answer. That's how you stay married 39 years.
That's
yes,
awesome.
ma'am.
Yeah, when I read that, I was very impressed, sir. Because anyone that beats 25, you know they're doing something right. And
I don't know what I'm doing right. I know she's hanging in there for 39 years. So she's the one that deserves all the credit.
And I'm excited to have you in here. You're the commissioner of precinct number 2. We had Jim Clark over there. He's commissioner of precinct number 1? 4. Thank you. There's a lot of things going on in this county. It's hard to keep track of. But it's interesting to see the development. I'm really happy that you're here, and maybe you can shed some light on what the future holds for the Montgomery County. And that's actually one of the most interesting statistics. If I remember correctly, it's like 72% of the county is county run besides cities, right?
It's rural, yeah. It's
rural.
under the jurisdiction of
there's a lot of areas.
The county government.
A lot.
It is a lot. It's I think it's more than 72, Dick, but I'm not real sure what the exact number is. But it's a whole lot of Montgomery County that is rural, that is governed by the county. You know, you got the city governments that are responsible for their city limits, but there's so much outside of the city limits that's under our responsibility.
And then part of that, too, is you still got a city, but you may not have a 24/7 police department in that city. So then the county jumps back in, and they've got constables, and
That's correct.
Sheriff's department that they still got to fund and take care of for public safety.
That's correct. Public safety is one of the biggest issues in this county, and the sheriff's office is the number one top law enforcement of the county. But they do have to work hand in hand with the constable's office. You have to work hand in hand with all the city police officers that we have, and I'm not sure how many. To be honest with you, how many cities don't have some sort of a city police office? I know over in my area we got a little community called Stagecoach. They've got their own police officer or police force. We got, of course, the city of Magnolia's got their own police force. They work hand in hand. You know, we got a constable precinct 5 over in the Magnolia area, and we got a sheriff's District 4 office. So I'm not saying that we've got plenty of police protection over there. I do know that we've got a sufficient amount of police officers over there between the city, the constable, and the sheriff's office, and the city of Stagecoach. And I see them working hand in hand all the time. I see them working hand in hand every day, and that's what it's about. You know, we went through this thing a while back about I got your back. I believe that's always been the case over in Precinct 2 in that area, around the Magnolia area. I really do. I've seen it. I watched it. I've been there since I was 14. So I've seen a lot of change over there. I'll tell you a little story about meeting David Hill, the constable over there. I was 14 years old when I moved to Magnolia. And I really came kind of kicking and screaming because I was leaving all my buddies on the north side of Houston, and I didn't really want to go. But when I got here, I fell in love with it. And 14 years old, I had an old Harley-Davidson motorcycle that I had put back together, and I got on that Harley-Davidson motorcycle one morning and was headed out 1488 when there was absolutely nothing on 1488 at the time out west of Magnolia. Nothing was out there but a highway patrolman by the name of David Hill.
And you were how old?
14.
Holy Moses.
And I didn't have a shirt on. I had short pants on with tennis shoes on. And I was headed down, seeing the motorcycle would run, see how fast I could get it going, really. And I topped the hill. Sure enough, David Hill was there. He turns around, pulls me over, and first thing he wants to know is who I am. And I'm sitting there telling him who I was. He said, "Are you Buddy Riley's boy?" And I said, "Yes, sir, I am." He said, "Well, you follow me." And took me right back to the house. Of course, then they had a big hoopla, a big conversation, a big slap on the back, and they look at me and tell me, "Just don't do it again." That was my punishment. Just don't do it again. So that's where I met David Hill. That's where I got involved with Magnolia. That's how I got involved in wanting to do things with Magnolia. And even when I was in high school, I was helping with the Lions Club. I was helping with the FFA. I was doing all I could do to try to give something back to the community. That's always been in my blood. I've always done that.
So that's how it was back in the day that we got punished.
Yes.
Or we learned you didn't do it again, did you?
Didn't do it again.
And if you did, you didn't get caught.
You didn't do it again because everybody knew Buddy Riley and everybody knew David Hill and everybody knew your neighbor and everybody knew one another. And times were just so different back then.
Tell us some more about you, Charlie Riley, the person. Going back to your wife, talk about your grandkids. We want to know a little bit about other stories besides just.
Well, I guess you could say this is not your typical love story to some folks, but I guess it is to me. I met my wife when I was 15. She was 14 at the Magnolia High School. I went over there when I just moved to Magnolia. Hadn't been there very long, and I heard some commotion going on across the railroad tracks at the high school. So I jump on my motorcycle again. And I run over to the school, and there's a band practice going on, and I walk up there and sit in the stage, in the stands, and I didn't know anybody. And I just happened to look over my right shoulder, and there was somebody sitting there, and it was a girl named Deanne Free. I didn't know her from Adams, but I got to talking to her that night. And then, I don't know, the next couple of days, every time I heard that music playing over, I figured, well, maybe she might be over there again. So I'd cross those tracks again on that motorcycle. And finally, I got to talking to her, and I took her for a ride on a motorcycle. Scared her to death. She told me what her daddy would do to me and her both if he caught her on that motorcycle, but we did it anyway. And then that was 44 years ago, and we've been married 39 of those 44 years. I got 2 kids, a boy that's 38, grown, living in Magnolia. He's married with a little boy, one of my grandsons, and then I've got a daughter who's 36, who has finally moved back to Magnolia and went back to work as a teacher at Magnolia Elementary School, and she's got 3 kids. Got a little boy that's 3, one of my granddaughters 10, one of them is 12, 9 mine. And I'm proud of all my grandkids. One of my grandsons, he's 5, he's pretty good at t-ball. Of course, everybody's 5-year-old is going to be the next Phil Garner or whoever their hero may be, or Craig Biggio. I guess that's who I need to be saying this. But anyway, my 3-year-old grandson is just holy terror in the house right now. He's not old enough to play any kind of organized sports, but he's got potential because I can see how he can tear up a house pretty quick. My 10-year-old is in dance and gymnastics, and I don't know the different dances, and I don't know the different. All I know is I go and watch her all the time, and she comes home with a bunch of trophies and a bunch of ribbons, and she loves doing that. And then my 12-year-old she's been on a horse since she's about 2 years old, and Nate, she's won just about everything she's ever been in. She loves horses. It's her passion. And one thing I'm proud of. This year, in 2015, they moved her up into a different age group because of where she's at in her standings, and she's been the world champion in 2 or 3 different classes up till this year. And then when she moved up to this class, they made her move up into the 18 and under, and she's 12, and she won that. So
she was so good. And sweeping everything.
Here again,
I'm not move up.
I'm not going to say she was so good they made her move up. I'm telling you, she was in this class doing this, and the next thing we know, you're going to the 18 and under in the novice class, whatever that means, and whatever she does with different styles of riding, and she won that too. So, wow, very, very proud of her.
We're sitting with Charlie Riley, who's your commissioner at precinct number 2. You're listening to Meet the Candidates. We're getting to know him a little bit, but when we come back from this sponsor break and some music, I wouldn't mind, if you don't mind, Charlie, is talk more about precinct number 2, what it covers, everything, and especially your responsibilities. And if you didn't know, Charlie has been in the studio 2 years ago. Can you believe that? 2 years ago, you're in here. Long? It's been 2 years. It was around April of 2014. It's coming up on 2 years, and so you can actually check that out on our SoundCloud. You can actually listen to Charlie from 2 years ago if you wanted to. But you're listening to Mornings with Lone Star here at irlonestar.com. We'll be back with Meet the Candidates with your Commissioner Precinct number 2, Charlie Riley.
Imagine a place where you can sip on Italian coffee and have a sandwich, followed by a fabulous, delectable pastry. We invite you to stop by Conroe Coffee to experience old world charm. Conroe Coffee is located next to the historic Creighton Theater in downtown Conroe. We are open 7 days a week. Please check our website for business hours at conroecoffee.com. You can also follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Have a caffeinated day.
Do you have your car's oil changed every few months, or do you wait a few years? Of course, you change your oil. If you didn't maintain your car, it would just quit working when you needed it most. Just like your car, your computer is a system that you rely on, and it needs regular maintenance too. 911 Data Recovery offers backup solutions, data networking, and most importantly, data recovery. Remember, your data isn't safe until it's saved twice. Call 911 Data Recovery before it's too late at 281-891-3872 or visit them online at 911datarecovery.org.
All right, that's Roger Krager's doing. If you had to choose, you're listening to Mornings with Lone Star. Meet the Candidates, Nathan Arizani. Sitting with your Commissioner Precinct number 2, Charlie Riley. You can visit him online. That's right. mctx.org has a department, page about all the commissioners, and you can check out Charlie Riley, all his contact information, and his hours of operation. And it's all on there, so if you have any questions for him, that's a great place to go. Now, one thing that's important is you put your contact information out there, Charlie, and what do people need to call you about? Because I imagine people call you about all sorts of things, and that's one thing I don't really I'm slowly understanding is the responsibilities of a commissioner, of a precinct constable. With you, what is your responsibility?
When you go to talk about Precinct 2, what we're responsible for in our precinct, we're responsible for all our roads, all our roadside ditches. We're responsible for our road signs. We're responsible for street signs. We're responsible for traffic signals, anything that has to do with mobility up and down roads, drainage, that type thing. Now, when you say what kind of phone calls do we get everything from the neighbor's dog is barking too loud, from the kid is speeding up down the road on his motorcycle, which I was guilty of at 14. I've done talked about that. But those are things that I am really not in my jurisdiction or in my authority, but I do know the people that I can call and try to help these folks, and that's what I try to do. I will, if I get a phone call about somebody speeding or the dogs or kids playing, whatever they're doing, I'll try to help those folks as much as I can. Now, I can't physically or do something about that myself, but I do know the people that I can get a hold of that can make things happen.
Yeah, if people want to go online, the mctx.org website has a map of the Commissioner Precinct area, and it's pretty large because you do go up to 45. Mm-hmm. And then on the west side, it pretty much goes all the way from 1488 to Magnolia and a little bit further down.
It's 282 square miles from 45 west all the way to the Waller County line, Harris County line south on 2978. If you go out 1774 west, it's to the Waller County line there, to the Grimes County line. It goes up north to 105. Everything on the south side of 105 mm-hmm. from Conroe out to Montgomery, and then down 149. That's really the dividing line between Precinct 1 and Precinct 2. It comes down, then it goes back over to the Waller County line on 1774 over there. So it's 282 square miles. Yes.
It's pretty dang big.
There's a lot going on in Precinct 2, I can promise.
Actually, let's talk about that if you don't mind. What is going on in Precinct 2?
Development. We've got so many developers that are looking at the west side of Montgomery County, especially Precinct 2, with the road improvements that we've got planned over there. We got 1774s under construction right now, widening it from 2 lanes to 4 lanes all the way from Pinehurst up into Magnolia. We've got an overpass over the railroad tracks at 1774 that was included in this last bond issue, where I've committed $5 million of that bond money to help with the design and the environmental clearance for that overpass. And when we committed the money to TxDOT, they moved that project up 2 years. So that project is scheduled to go under construction in August of this year. So 2016 versus 2018 is going to be a huge success for the city of Magnolia and for Montgomery County Precinct 2.
Now, on that project, tell me get a little deeper about it. Your office put up $5 million for that, but isn't there some kind of matching funds? Isn't it a much more expensive project than that?
We put up the $5 million to help and to move this project forward. When we did that, to help them with the right-of-way, with the design and the environmental. That's a $14 million job that we're going to get for $5 million. TxDOT is going to spend the other $14 million to do the actual job and do it all the way out to Waller County line, to do 1774 out to the Waller County line. So we spent getting at least $14 million worth of work from TxDOT to get the job 2 years early, and that's the key to this. Getting it 2 years earlier than what it was planned.
Yeah, I see that being part of your position is your not your friendliness, but the way you work with others, because you kind of oversee the constable's office and you work with them every day, and then you also work with TxDOT, and it's important to have these kind of relations, especially if you have goals that you want to help the citizens over there in Precinct 2. Especially like you're talking about this bridge. Like, to me, that seems like a no-brainer, but it's also a risk, because you're like, we got to do it. And let's see, we got to make this work.
Again, you got to be committed to what you're wanting to try to do, and you also have to have the people that you have to know the right people that you need to talk to. And when you're talking to TxDOT and you're talking about the city of Magnolia, you have to talk to the folks in the city of Magnolia too. They're involved in it too. I mean, you've got the city, you got the state, you got the county, you got the contractors. You got everybody has to be on the same page, and it's just like the Magnolia Relief Route. If we can somehow tie the overpass 1774 and the Magnolia Relief Route, we committed $10 million to that project to get it moved forward. And when we did that, TxDOT went ahead and hired a consultant firm to begin looking at the right-of-way, to begin looking at the alignment. So it all ties together. That's a $24 million project. We spend the 10, they spend the 24, and move it up, get it earlier, get the route down, and we can begin right-of-way acquisition, the right-of-way mapping, get all that done. And instead of being 5 or 6 years out, maybe we can get it done in 3 years.
See, and that's what I wish more of the commissioners, if they get a chance to come on, I know Jim did, and he talked about it, is it's more than just saying I've got X amount of money in a road bond. Okay, you're spending 5, somebody else is spending 10. I would call that a good steward of our money, of my tax money, because that's my money. My money being taxed in Montgomery County is being spent everywhere.
Yes.
But, you brought up relationships. You got 2 counties you butt up against. You got to have relationships with those people.
Yes.
You've got 2 different commissioners you butt up against.
Yes.
And you don't need to be butting heads with them either, because we're still Montgomery County. But you've got to be able to have those relationships to work together for one goal.
Traffic problems or any kind of problems, they don't stop at precinct lines or county lines or city limit lines. We're all in this together to try to make it better for everybody in Montgomery County. That's what we all should be here for. That's the goal. Quality of life in Montgomery County, make it better.
That's why I'm kind of interested. It has nothing to really do with the Precinct 2, but the Grand Parkway opening. I'm interested in seeing how traffic really develops around going south to Houston. And especially because, kind of somewhat, Highway 249 hits the Parkway, correct?
Right.
So that will be
in Tomball.
But that road's pretty long. 249 is pretty big, and it goes into precinct number 2. So,
and it's going to get bigger. It's going to get longer.
Talk about that too.
249.
That's a big deal.
It is a big deal. I mean, we met with some property owners last week, not yesterday, but Wednesday before last. Where we've got the road, the alignment is going through some of their property, and we've met with those guys trying to see about getting those guys to donate some of their right-of-way. And we had great meetings with some very, very, very respectable developers that are looking at this property, that own this property, and they want to help. They want to help with the right-of-way acquisition. They want to help us, so they know what this road means to Montgomery County. They know what it means to them. And I look forward to the day. You know, when I moved out here when I was 14 years old, I kept hearing about there's going to be this major road through here one of these days. That was 50 years ago. And I kept hearing it. I never thought it would ever happen. Well, now we've got an opportunity to make it happen. And I look forward to the day that somebody can get on that road in Magnolia and either head north and go all the way to Highway 6 or all the way to Waco, or head south and go all the way to Houston and beyond Houston, and never have to stop if you don't want to.
Well,
that's going to be amazing.
Except in Precinct 2 to get some gas and get,
I would love that, but I see too many people now sitting at that intersection at 1774 and 1488. That is the worst intersection in the state of Texas. It has to be. I can't wait till we can't fix that intersection. There's just, everybody in the world has looked at that intersection. You can't fix it, so you got to go around it. And 249 will keep people out of that intersection, and the Magnolia Relief Route will do that. I don't believe it will force Magnolia to dry up. I think it will improve the quality of life for the people in and around Magnolia.
We're sitting with Charlie Riley, your precinct number 2, with Meet the Candidates, and my co-host Nathan Arizotti. It's 9:29. We're going to take a quick sponsor break and then also listen to some music. So stick around here at OurLoneStar.com with Meet the Candidates. Lone Star Community Radio. That was Rex Kelly with Real Cool Hand. This is Meet the Candidates with Nathan Arizotti. And I want to remind everybody to get out and vote. Early voting starts, is it next Monday, Nathan?
Tuesday.
Thank
Tuesday.
You. He's my reminder guy.
But he's a big pusher of getting out and getting informed.
On the wrong date. That's what I'm a big pusher on.
Yeah.
Get out there Monday and just camp out and wait till they open.
But the voter parking signs are out, and I was visiting the DA's office the other day. I got to go through the metal detector, and 2 people came in wanting to know where they could go vote because the signs are out. So that's cool. People they're getting ready.
That's right. That's good.
And right now we have our Commissioner Precinct number 2 over in the Magnolia area, Charlie Riley, and we're talking about the future of Magnolia. And I know a lot of people have been reading in the paper about what's going on over there, especially with the developments of roads. And one thing I want Charlie to touch on is what the hottest topic is in the Magnolia area, if you don't mind. You don't have to get too much into it, but I just want to know what's going on over there. Because when I think of Magnolia, I think of the Texas Renaissance Festival and the crazy traffic with that. But what else is going on major time over there?
That is a hot topic, the Texas Renaissance Festival, and that's why I think 249 is such an important project. For 40 years we've been dealing with the Renaissance Festival coming right down the middle of Magnolia to the worst intersection in the state at 1488 and 1774. 249 should relieve a tremendous amount of that traffic. That's a hot topic during the months of October and November when the Renaissance is taking place. Other hot topics are 1488, trying to get 1488 in front of the high school. We've got that under construction now with an overpass over 149 and the railroad tracks. That's been a hot button issue for years, and it all comes down to mobility. It all comes down to people trying to get home and get to work. They want to be able to get home. They don't want to sit at 149 and 1488 for 35, 40 minutes trying to get there. So they want the overpass. They don't want to come up into Magnolia and have to wait another 20 minutes at that intersection. They want a way to get to work and to get home. That improves the quality of life as far as I'm concerned. If I can go somewhere and get back in a timely, safe manner, that's what I want to do. And roads in Precinct 2 are a hot topic. We might as well talk about the extension that goes from 249 over to 2978. There's people in Magnolia on the west side of this county that want this road. They need this road. There's no other way. There's no other good way to get from 2978 to 249 or 249 back to 2978. I think the superintendent from Magnolia ISD and the transportation director said it better than anybody in court.
In Commissioner's Court the other day? Yep,
when they said all it takes is a culvert to wash out or an accident on Hardenstore Road, and there's no way to get to the east from west side to the east side or back and forth. You have to go 1488. This extension would be the road that people would use to go from 249 to 2978. Now, I do not believe that somebody's going to go all the way through the middle of the Woodlands on Woodlands Parkway to get to I-45. There's 26 traffic signals between 2978 and I-45. If they do it, they won't do it but once. They'll find another way. So,
but if they do go into the Woodlands on the Woodlands Parkway, and they do go to the mall, and they do go spend money, and they do go to restaurants, or they go to a concert, why is that a bad thing?
To me, I don't know why that's a bad thing. I would think they would want some people to have access to go to do those things. But there seems to be opposition to this road for some reason, and we're talking 6,000 to 8,000 cars a day is what the study says. Nowhere near what any of the other roads that are coming into to the Woodlands. It's nowhere near those projections. So, and I'm not going to get into. I don't want this to be another one of these hot spots to where we create something.
Right.
I'm for the road. I'm not going to sit here and tell you I'm not going to build the road. I'm not going to sit here and tell you that I'm going to build the road tomorrow. The road needs to happen. We're working with the developers on the west side who own the property to get theirs designed, to get their roads built through their property. And what needs to be done from there, we will decide that when that happens, and then we'll go from there.
What do your citizens want? That's the big. Your citizens
I've
want
got citizens in Magnolia. I've got citizens on the north side of the Woodlands that are in my precinct. They want the road. Not all of them. I'm not going to sit here and say they all do, but the majority of the people on the west side want the road. Now, the majority of the people in the Woodlands on the north side, I've got some that want it. I've got some that don't. But that's what this is about. Here we go again. That's when we sit down and we talk and we look each other in the eye and we try to come up with let's see what we can do here to make this work.
Hadn't this project been on the books way before you, way before any of the other commissioners that have been out there, and even before County Judge Craig Doyle?
Yeah, this is not my project. This is not my road. This road's been on the thoroughfare plan for over 35 years. So it's not something I just dreamed up. Matter of fact, George Mitchell had this road, owned this property at one time with this road through his property. Now, he sold the property, I understand that, but it was on the thoroughfare plan, and it's been there, and there's no need for it to, there's no reason for it to come off the thoroughfare plan.
Now, with that in mind, how do you go about achieving your goal with it? Because, like you said, it's part of being a commissioner and being good at your job is being able to work with your surrounding neighbors. And right now, it sounds like for the past 2 to 3 years, it's just been a stalemate with this situation. So is it more we just wait for a change of power, or is it more we just waiting to see more people seeing that it is a needed addition? Or
I don't think we need to play the game of waiting to see a change in power. I think we need to try to communicate, try to open up communications, which is to be honest with you, has not really been that good here lately. But you don't sit and wait for change of power. You try to show people this is what is needed. This is what the road will do. This is what the road will help. This is what these developers on the west side. This is the tax base these developers are going to create. This is the commercial value that they're going to bring. This is going to be the connecting road for 249, where people can come from 249, go east or west. People can come out of the Woodlands, go over to 249, go all the way to College Station, or go to Houston on the toll road, go to Waco, wherever they want to go using the toll road. Right now, Hardin Store Road is the only way to get over there, and it's not capable of handling what's the vehicles that are trying to go up and down that road.
That's pretty interesting. If you don't mind, we're going to take another break, and when we come back, we're going to close our segment with Charlie Riley, who's your Commissioner Precinct number 2. Check him out online at mctx.org. You can find all the information on what's going on at that website with the county. So stick with us on Lone Star Community Radio. It's Wade Bowen right there. Sunshine's on a Dreamer. We're closing out this Meet the Candidate segment with your County Precinct number 2, Charlie. Oh, man. Whoops. Sorry about that.
Was that Charlie playing? He's got a band.
That wasn't Charlie. That wasn't Charlie.
Was that the Charlie Riley band?
That was Manny's Barbecue, is who it was. But coming up next, folks, just to remind you, at 10 o'clock, the Cindy Cochran Show. She's going to be in the studio. And right now we're going to give the open mic to Charlie and just kind of talk about what's going on with you in the future and anything you want to let the audience know. So go ahead.
Well, first of all, I want to thank y'all for allowing me to be here this morning. I've really enjoyed it. I do have some things coming up. Number one, I want to invite everybody to our second annual fundraiser, if I could, on February the 18th at the Magnolia High School from 5:30 to 8. There'll be a stuffed baked potato dinner with salad. There'll be a live auction. There'll be a silent auction. There'll be a lot of folks there. I'd love to see everybody. I hope that y'all would come out and join us. It'll be a great time for everybody.
I was there last year. I don't know what the count was, but you must have had, seriously, 600, 700, 800 people?
There was a lot of folks there, Nathan. I don't really know. I don't know how many people were there, but it was
huge.
It was great. It was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
A lot of fun. And I do the barbecue, and I love to barbecue. I've been doing that ever since I was old enough to learn how to do that. And I've cooked for a lot of people and a lot of events, and I love to do that. So I'll cook the barbecue and the potatoes. Have a lot of folks there to help us out. And then, something was said about a little band I put together, and I will say this, that for the last 9 years, me and the superintendent from Magnolia ISD and a couple of school board members and some other folks, every year at Christmas time, we go around to every one of the elementary schools in Magnolia, and we sing Christmas songs for these elementary kids. And I don't know who has more fun, us or the kids. I think we have more fun than they do, but we have a ball doing that, and they look forward to it. And we did it again this year for the 9th time, so that's a lot of fun to do. I love music. I've been playing music since I was about 8 years old. And I've gotten to where I finally tried to straighten up a little bit, and I've got into church. I found a church, Magnolia Cowboy Church, that I just love, and I'm the worship director and music director there. So in between my spare time, which is very little, I do try to attend church, and I do try to take care of help the folks at the schools and my community, and try to stay involved. And I do as much of that as I can. And we this little group that we're in, we don't charge people to come play. We play for the Senior Citizens Day at the fairgrounds.
Tell us about that.
There'll be about 1,500 seniors that'll come from all over the county over to the fairgrounds for the Montgomery County Senior Day at the fair, and our group will play for those guys for about 2 hours. Like, we don't charge them anything. We just love doing that, and the people I've got, they love doing it for these folks. And then 4th of July, I have a big barbecue over at our community center, and I invite the same folks from the countywide. We barbecue for them, let them eat, and we sing and play for them, and we clear out a little spot and let them dance, and they have a great time. And it's just we need to take care of our seniors. I tell everybody we got 2 fan bases. We got the kindergartners and the senior citizens. That's our fan base, but that's who we need to be taking care of. So that's me in a nutshell.
Well, I appreciate you coming and being part of this. You're always welcome back here on Mornings with Lone Star or Lone Star Community Radio. We're going to be moving on. Next is the Cindy Cochran Show. Nathan, who do we have lined up for tomorrow?
Tomorrow is First Assistant District Attorney Mr. Phil Grant, who is running for Judge of the Ninth. All
right, that's going to be fun. That's going to be around 9 a.m., so stick around. We're going to take a short break, and then the Cindy Cochran Show starts at 10 o'clock. We'll see you later, folks.
Thank you for checking out a podcast on Lone Star Internet Radio. Lone Star Internet Radio is Montgomery County's community radio station, broadcasting from the heart of Conroe, Texas. If you are interested in sponsoring a program for Lone Star Internet Radio, just visit us online at irlonestar.com or message us on Facebook. We are always taking song requests on Twitter, and if you are interested in getting involved with the station by either hosting your own show or if you want to be a DJ, just contact Dick at irlonestar.com. Lone Star Internet Radio, Montgomery County's community radio station.